Today in Vampire Stories, Legends and Secrets of Vlad Tepes, The Real Count Dracula Part 3. The true story of Count Dracula is not about vampires or anything supernatural. It is simply about such a bloodthirsty and ruthless man, whose terribly cruel acts far surpass the fiction of the movies. Some legends say that he massacred between 40,000 and 100,000 people. He was relentless. In cities where they did not accept him as their new prince, he proceeded to impale men, women and children alike. He always did this with large numbers of people, configuring macabre, forests of implements, that chilled the blood of his enemies, and we imagine also of his allies, of course. He used to organize mass implements with geometric shapes. A series of concentric rings around the city was the most common shape. When Vlad carried out the implement, he realized that no vital organs were damaged, which would mean that the victim could survive for 5 or 6 days by giving them water. Subscribe and like, so you help me create more content like this. Thank you. He wasn't very tall, but he was big and muscular. His appearance was cold and inspired a certain fear. He had an aquiline nose, dilated nostrils, a thin, reddish face and very long eyelashes that shaded his large, wide-open gray eyes. His thick black eyebrows gave him a menacing appearance. He wore a mustache, and his prominent cheekbones made his face look even more energetic. A bull's neck surrounded his head, from which a curly black mane hung over his broad shoulders. Below we will mention some of the legends of this barbaric character. The Foreign Merchant. A foreign merchant discovered that 160 ducats had been stolen from his cart during the night. When he told Dracula, he threatened to destroy the city if the thief did not appear. Once he was captured, he was ordered to be impaled, and Dracula ordered 160 ducats to be deposited in the cart plus an extra coin. Fortunately, the merchant realized that there was extra money and told Dracula, as he then explained that it was a test of honesty and if he had not done so he would have been impaled as well. 2. The Golden Cup. Any thief caught by Dracula would be impaled. To demonstrate the security that existed in the city, Dracula placed a golden cup within everyone's reach, in the central square of the city so that everyone could use it to drink but no one should try to steal it. And so it was. The cup was never stolen. 3. The Two Monks. 2 monks went to Dracula's castle. When he asked them what they thought of the implements, one of them responded that he was doing very well in doing them because it was a divine mission to punish the crime, while the other condemned it. One of the monks was impaled and the other was rewarded. According to the traditional Romanian and Russian versions, he rewarded the honest and impaled the one who praised him. However, German pamphlets reversed the fate of the monks. 4. The Polish Noble. A Polish nobleman in the service of the King of Hungary visited Turgovist in 1458. Dracula invited him to dinner and suddenly ordered a spear to be placed at the ready right in front of him. When he asked him what he thought of that, he replied that he believed it was because someone had offended the prince, and Dracula was trying to honor him. Dracula told him that it was so, that it was about honoring the Polish guest, which he did by giving him a multitude of gifts, and that if he had answered otherwise he would have had him impaled. 5. The Foreign Ambassadors, with several versions in which the origin of the emissaries, and the type of hat they wear changes. In this story some ambassadors from the East appear before Dracula. By wearing a turban they do not reveal their heads to the prince, which is considered a lack of respect. Given the excuses they give that they cannot reveal their heads, Dracula decides to nail their hands to their foreheads so that they can never take off their turban again and, therefore, are not in danger of their heads being revealed. 6. Dracula's Mistress. This individual who impaled or skinned women, who violated chastity alive, had a mistress in a house in Turgovist. This woman always tried to cheer him up, and once she saw him quite depressed she thought of cheering him up by saying that she was going to have his child. Dracula found this so bad that he threatened to kill her if it was a joke. Knowing that his threats were more than true, she preferred to continue with the farce until Dracula sent some midwives to verify the truth of her pregnancy. Upon discovering that it was false, he himself went to the woman's bedroom, and while she was lying down, he cut her open with a knife from her groin to her breasts. Dracula left her to die in agony, but not before proclaiming his desire for the world to see where she had been. 7. The Lazy Woman. Dracula encountered a man working in the field, who seemed lacking a woman from the appearance of his clothes. When asked if he was not married, he told him yes. Dracula brought the woman and asked her what she did in her days, and she told him that she washed, made bread and sewed, pointing to her husband's clothes. Dracula did not believe her, and decided to impale her even though her husband claimed to be satisfied with her. He then forced another woman to marry this man, but not before threatening her with the same fate if she did not take good care of the peasant. 8. The Nobleman with a Keen Sense of Smell. On St. Bartholomew's Day in 1459, when Dracula impaled 30,000 men, Dracula held a party to celebrate. When he saw that one of the nobles was covering his nose in the food because he couldn't stand the stench of the dead, Dracula ordered him to be impaled on a stick higher than the others so that the air would be cleaner. In another version, it is a foreign ambassador who asks Dracula why he is walking among so much plague of decomposing dead. When Dracula asks him what the ambassador cares about to make himself look good, he tells him that it is because he cares about the prince's health. Likewise, Dracula impales him higher than anyone else so he doesn't have to notice the smells. 9. The burning of the poor and sick. Realizing that the number of poor and sick was increasing considerably in Wallachia, Dracula decided to invite them all to a great feast to demonstrate that there would be no poor in his kingdom. When they were in the middle of the great banquet, Dracula appeared and asked them if they wanted to live without worrying or lacking anything. When they answered yes, he set fire to the banquet room in such a way that not a single one could escape. When questioned, Dracula justified this action as a way to free others from having to carry them. In this way, according to him, there were no longer any poor people in his kingdom. Today this anecdote is considered different by many Romanians. According to them, the guests at the feast were local bandits, not poor and sick people. See you.